her own accomplishments. Comes to us all the way from Los Angeles, California. For years, she had her own show on, was it HLN, CLN, CNN, one of them? HLN. She's also a loud and powerful voice for the voiceless, always speaking up for those that can't speak for themselves. She is, of course, the editor or creator of the wildly successful Jane Unchained, which she has, I don't even know how many correspondents worldwide, 70 correspondents worldwide that you can follow on Facebook, social media, and see what's happening in different areas of the world as far as animal activism, vegan food, everything. The popular segment Lunch Break Live, which airs daily, shows you delicious plant-based creations to keep your mouth watering. See that daily on Lunch Break Live on Facebook, Jane Unchained. And she's also been recognized by HSUS, Humane Society US, for, I think you got 4 awards from them, 4 or 5. So anyway, without further ado, I'm bringing to the stage my friend coming all the way from Los Angeles, California, Jane Velez Mitchell.
Wow, I'm impressed. I gotta tell you, Mr. and Mrs. Will Tucker, this lady right here, she's amazing. I am so honored to be here tonight. Are we ready to change the world? Are we going to save the world? What do you think? I think that deserves a little karate move. Come on. You know, I have to say that sometimes I get overwhelmed with the challenge that we have. You know, in the words of the Australian philanthropist, we have turned our planet into planet slaughterhouse, killing 74 billion land animals, not even including fish. I am talking about chickens and pigs and turkeys and cows and lambs who have all the feeling of our dogs and cats. 74 billion. Does everybody agree that there's something wrong with that? It's a lot. Something has gone wrong. And we can change it, and we are going to change it this weekend. There is no more important place to be in the world than right here in Mesa, Arizona. Because the people of Mesa and the people who have come from all over the world for Vegan World 2026, we are going to change it, and we are going to take our society from a culture of normalized violence to a culture of normalized non-violence. Are we ready to do that? Yes! Now, we do that by not just railing against the world as it is, but by offering a better alternative. So I have to tell you that I had a life-changing experience. You know, I have been an animal lover my whole life, and I have tried to find that magic formula that would stop all this killing and wake people up to this other peaceful way of living. And I was in Texas, ground zero of animal agriculture, and I was going live, as we're going live now on Jane Unchained, on some speeches this past May at the Rowdy Girls Sanctuary, which is a Texas cattle ranch that became a vegan animal sanctuary because the lady who is here, Renee King Sonnen, a country singer, fell in love with her cows. Renee fell in love with her cows, and she told her husband, "You're not going to send these babies off to slaughter anymore." And he said, "Well, then, you know what? I'm going to just sell the herd." And she said, "Well, I'm going to buy it from you." And she turned it into a sanctuary. And I was listening to this man talk, and all of a sudden I said, this is a life-changing experience. The man happened to be Dr. Salesh Rao, who is right there in the shadows, who's going to speak in a second. And he said, you know what? We can create rapid social change. Look at the internet, he said. In the early 1990s, nobody. People laughed at you if you said that everybody's going to be communicating on a little phone and working on a little tablet on their laps. And voila, it happened in a flash. Within a decade, that's exactly what happened. And then he said, you know what? We're going to do the same thing with diet. We're going to create a vegan world by 2026. Now, if anybody else had said that, to be honest with you, I might roll my eyes. But then I found out he helped create the internet. He is one of the fathers of the internet. So if he can do it to the internet, he can do it for our diets. And I said, I'm going to take a leap of faith. This is the best plan I have heard so far for making our world a healthier, more peaceful place. And I followed him to Costa Rica with other people who are here in this crowd, a dozen of us. And we went to a great area of biodiversity where we saw all these animals that have been wiped mostly off the face of the earth. And he said, we can rewild the forests. And then he said, first we have to come up with a declaration so that we can outline our mission. And what I'm holding in my hand is the declaration that we came up with. So now I would like the lovely Clover, who is an artist and a spiritual guide, to take to her gong and accompany me as I read the declaration that we came up with, which is the outline for what we are going to tackle this weekend here at Vegan World 2026 in Mesa, Arizona. Awakening to Survival 2026. We envision a world of love, unity, and abundance, but this requires us to change course at this perilous time. Since 1970, more than half of wild animals have been killed. At the rate we are killing wildlife, we will have virtually no wild animals left by 2026. The loss means whales, penguins, monkeys, koalas, tigers, eagles, giraffes. None of these animals would be left except in zoos. This is the biggest crisis of our lifetimes because it threatens our very existence. This horrific milestone will mark an ecological turning point. Year zero will present unimaginable extreme weather on a scale the human race has never experienced before. Extreme drought, massive wildfires, flood events. That extreme weather will in turn trigger political and societal disruption and chaos as millions are displaced and become refugees. From cities to rural areas, land and homes will become uninhabitable. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of global deforestation, habitat destruction, wildlife extinction, ocean dead zones, soil degradation, and climate change. Because it is so resource intensive and highly inefficient, animals eat almost 40 times what they produce as meat, dairy, or eggs. 83% of agricultural land is currently used for raising farm animals for food. The good news is 80% of the food that humans consume is already plant-based. Less than 20% of the food humans eat is meat, dairy, and eggs. When we reduce that percentage to zero by 2026, we will have made substantial progress towards reversing climate change, wildlife extinction, and deforestation, thereby preventing year zero. It is totally unnecessary to eat animals for health or survival. Following a plant-based lifestyle can reverse and prevent 14 of the 15 leading causes of death, including cancer and heart disease. Due to the increasing variety of plant-based food options, it is now easier than ever to go vegan. Therefore, it is totally unnecessary to exploit, enslave, torment, and kill animals, or to engage in institutionalized animal abuse. We reject a system of forced breeding, mutilation, and killing of animals. We demand this system of normalized violence be replaced by a system of normalized nonviolence. We commit to supporting this vision to assist in the joy and wellness of all beings through a vegan lifestyle. For all of the above reasons, we are committed to achieving a vegan world by 2026. Our guiding principles are: 1, all animals have the inalienable right to live free of exploitation, forced breeding, torture, and slaughter. Number 2, we reject the idea that religious beliefs, cultural traditions, and economic arguments are valid reasons for denying them these inalienable rights. 3, we believe in the intersectionality of these basic rights with inalienable human rights. 4, compassion for all life is infinitely sustainable. And now our demands. Our demands are: 1, government stop subsidizing animal agriculture and start promoting organic plant agriculture. And media report the truth about animal agriculture's devastating impact on human health, the environment, and our fellow creatures. And finally, I think this deserves a nice big gong. Our pleas are: 1, environmental, conservation, health, animal welfare, and religious organizations adopt a public vegan policy. And 2, biggest gong of all, consumers stop buying animal products. All of the death and suffering would end if people just didn't buy those products. So I want to say, as we wrap up, and I take the stage leave for my hero, Dr. Salesh Rao, things are changing. You know, I read in CNBC this week, and that's a pretty conservative organization. It's about finance. It's just about money. They said that nearly 40% of Americans are trying to eat less meat. Pretty good. Nearly half of Americans are trying this already. And the meat alternative sector has jumped by 22% in 2017. We are on our way. We need all of you. Americans are decent people. We're starting to see the truth, and we can all change it with everyday decisions. Thank you so much. And I believe Dr. Salesh Rao is coming up. But first, Lisa Barca.
Thank you. Wow.
Thanks for Clover. Let's hear it for Clover and her gong. Well done.
Wow, I didn't know I was going to be following Jane Velez Mitchell. Let's give another round of applause for Jane. How lucky are we to have Jane here with us in Phoenix this weekend? I feel so fortunate just looking around. I mean, I live here. We've got this amazing Zen Nights the last Friday of every month. We've now got activists and beautiful, amazing people with huge hearts and powerful voices here for the conference this weekend, Vegan World 2026. And it's just amazing. Thank you, all of you, for being here. I teach at Arizona State University, ASU, and I am the faculty advisor of a student organization there, Veg Out. It's the only vegan organization on the whole ASU campus. Oh, really? Okay, I feel like I'm so loud. Okay, thank you. It's the only vegan student org on campus. And in the last 2 months, we started this club just back in the spring. We went from about 30 members back in the beginning of September. We've got almost 100 members now. Last time I checked was 98. I bet the next time I check we got 100. We want to double that by the end of the year. People are waking up. Students are waking up. They really are. They know that we are facing absolutely catastrophic climate change, and they're worried about it. They know that. They just need a little help connecting the dots with what we're doing to animals, that how we are exploiting animals and destroying the earth and trampling over everything as a resource is messing us up. They know this, and they're waking up. They're waking up. I'm teaching a course in the spring. It's called Eating Animals, Ethics and Sustainability. It filled up. The course filled up in like 2 days. Students are coming out. They want to learn about this. They know it's time. The system, their habits, their culture is holding them back, but we're trying to change that. So I hope that you will come out, if you can, on Sunday night. We have these amazing activists in town. We've got Jane Velez Mitchell. We've got Susan Hargreaves, who I think is here or will be here soon. We've got Renee King Sonnen, director of Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. And of course, we have Dr. Rao. And we are holding an event on Sunday night on campus to help students see the path forward is going vegan, and come out if you can. We've got flyers for it over at our table for Vegan World 2026. We'd love it if you could be there. We're going to have a free dinner from Green. And yeah, thank you all for being here, for listening. If you have any questions, or if you go to ASU and you want to join the club, just let me know. My lead student organizer, Amanda Lee, is also here, and you can talk to her. So yeah, we're doing it. We're gonna do it. I believe it. Do you believe it? The vision that Jane talked about a few minutes ago? I believe it. You know, standing here and just being with all this great energy, I believe it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make this world vegan by 2026. And thank you all for the role that you're playing in that. And now we're gonna hear from Dr. Sailesh Rao more about the conference Vegan World 2026. Thank you.
How are you all doing? Isn't this exciting? Oh wow, this has been a culmination of so many years of hard work and dreaming that it's possible to do this. If you think back 8 years ago and you look now at what has happened to the vegan movement, don't you think we've had an exponential growth in the vegan movement? So imagine the same growth happening over the next 8 years. You're going to have a vegan world. There's no way out. This is going to happen. We just have to put our minds to it and get it done. Okay? It turns out that there are only 6 types of questions that human beings know of. It's who, what, where, when, why, and how. Who is going to do Vegan World 2026? We are. Yes, we are. Yes. It's us. What are we going to do? A vegan world. A system of normalized non-violence. That's very simple to understand. Stop killing animals. This is not hard to do. Where are we going to do this? Throughout the whole entire world. When are we going to do this by? 2026. This is the moonshot of our generation. This is it. We have to do this so that these kids have a bright future, that they can thrive on planet Earth. Why are we doing this? You already heard Jane talk about how the wild animals are dying off. And if we don't change, if things don't change, almost 100% of them are going to die off by 2026. And a month ago, Dr. Kim Williams, who was the former president of the American College of Cardiology, he said, if things don't change, by 2026, Medicare is going to be bankrupt. And just a couple of weeks ago, the IPCC, the climate scientists of the UN, they said that if things don't change, within 12 years, we're going to trigger catastrophic climate change. So this tells you that things are going to change. Of course things are going to change. That's what we are here for. So we know why we have to do this. We want to do this because we want to live on a planet that's thriving, not a planet that's dying. So the final question is, how are we going to do this? And that's what this conference is about. The conference that all these people have come from all over the world. We've got guests from Israel. The CEO of Vegan Nation is here, Isaac Thomas. We have guests from South Africa. Ian McFarlane is here. And we have people from all over the world, and people from Toronto have come here. People from all over the country have come here. As Americans, we never shirk from a challenge. We have never done that. So this is a challenge, and we are going to address it. We're going to address it exactly like we addressed the moon landing, or the moonshot. Kennedy said we're going to go to the moon in 8 years, and the engineers got together and they said, okay, how can we get to the moon? Well, you need someone wearing an oxygen suit to get on the moon, because there is no atmosphere on the moon. So you have to design an oxygen suit. You have to design a lunar module that will land on the moon. You have to design a transportation device that will take you from the Earth to the moon and back. So you just broke it up into little problems and figured out how to solve each one of those. And that's how the moon landing happened in 7 years, when Kennedy said we should do it in 8 years. If you look at what happened in the internet, it's exactly the same thing. We identified where there were holes, and then we figured out how to fill them. So you look at what do we not know how to do to get to a vegan world by 2026, and we formed study groups to understand how to solve that, and we formed task forces after that to go and really nail it down. This is not complicated. We know how to do this. We know how to do this. We know how to strategize to do this. And we know how to tap into experts all over the world to help us do this. People are ready to help us to do this. So even in the internet, when we started, there were only about 100 people who came to the first few meetings. But within a few years, there were thousands of people. There were lots of task forces. And all we did as the larger group was to make sure that every piece fit together. And we created an internet that worked beautifully. So it's the same thing that we are going to have to do now. So what we are doing over this weekend is the beginning of a process. And our goal in this conference is to make sure that at the end of the conference, we've identified a few problems that we need to solve. And we form study groups and we go off and work on that. And it's going to be, we meet every month on the internet and every 6 months physically in different places around the world. And if we keep at it, we are going to solve this problem. Okay? This is how we do it. Yes. 2026 is a goal, and our job is to meet that goal. And our job is to beat it. If we can do it by 2025, I'll be very happy. I'm sure Kimaya will be even happier. It all started because Kimaya, our granddaughter, she pushed me to it. She told me, you have to do this. I'll tell you that story. You know, I was reading her a story in bed one day, and at the end of the story, she said, so Grandpa, who were the first human beings? And I said to her, you know, imagine you're standing on the street and you're holding your mother by your hand, and you get your mother to bring her mother and stand by her side, and so on, and you create a long line of mothers on one side. And the other side of the street, you get a chimpanzee to do the same thing with her mother. So by the time these two lines go from Phoenix to Tucson, they would merge. There'll be only one line, because both lines are going to say, that's my mother too. Immediately she sat up in bed and she said, what are you telling me? Are you telling me that animals are my family? If animals are my family, why are people eating my family? Grandpa, please make them stop. They're eating my family. She started bawling. And I said to her, this is my job. That's what I've been trying to do for the last 8 years. Okay? And she said, Grandpa, this is your job? Grandpa, you haven't done your job. When will you do your job? And I said, we have to get it done by 2026, by the time you're 16 years old. She said, promise? I said, I promise you that. So she said, can you give me a pinky promise? And I said, yes, I'll give you a pinky promise. And she said, you can never break a pinky promise. You remember that? And so I said, okay, I'll give you a pinky promise. So I'm not going to break it. And then she went and talked to someone, I think her mother. She came back a couple of days later and she said, Grandpa, I hear you have a tough job. She said, you don't have to do it by the time I'm 16. You can do it by the time I'm 17 years old. So she gave me a grace year. And I said, no, we have to do it by the time you're 16. So let's get it done. Yeah. Let's get it done. And I'm so grateful to all of you who have come from all over to help us do this. It cannot be done by one person. It cannot be done by a few people. It's all of us together who are going to sort this out. Okay? We're going to solve this problem. Because between us, we have all the knowledge we need to get it done. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love you all. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
What an amazing man. This man who is one of the founders of
Y'all
the
keep it
internet.
going for Dr. Salas. Right. Come on. World 2020.
Whoa!
We can make this happen. Come on three. Say, yes, we can.
Yes, we
Say, yes, we can.
Yes, we can!
That's right. Vegan World 2026. The animals will be liberated, damn it.
Yes!
Sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry. I get a little excited.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. Well, real quick here. In addition to making the Vegan World 2026 with the things Dr. Rao, Jane, and Lisa talked about, food that you're out here shopping for, this beautiful plant-based food, let me introduce y'all to somebody. Did you know we had a world-renowned vegan chef residing right here in the Valley? Y'all didn't know that? This man has authored books with Dr. Neil Barnard, the 21-Day Weight Loss book, if you're not familiar with that. He is the creator and founder of the Vegan Taste, the nation's longest-running vegan meal delivery service. So we're going to give a little love to my man, Chef Jason Wyrick. Come on up.
Thank you for the incredible intro. I probably don't deserve it, but I appreciate it. So I actually came to make a couple announcements, and of course to talk a little bit about the meal delivery service. So I'm just going to talk about that real quick. Like Will said, we have the longest running vegan meal delivery service in the country. We've been doing it for 14 years. We were the first one to ever ship nationally. We deliver all over the Valley, and they are ready-to-eat meals just like this, reasonably priced, foods from around the world, foods that I love to eat, foods that my daughter loves to eat. It's just really great food. Cool. Thanks. So we've got our meal delivery service. It's free delivery, and we priced it so everyone can afford it. Okay, so we have some really cool discount cards. We have a 30% off discount card for all of you that came to Zen Nights. It's a Zen Nights special. You can get those cards over there at the Zen Nights
here.
And you can also get those over at our
Gregor's
booth over
gonna
there.
have to-
And we have
he's
some
gonna be
samples of
talking in a
the
second.
meals over there, so you can get a really great idea of the portion sizes and what you would get with a week's worth of meals.
Anyway, we are here
So that's
at this
that's the delivery
incredible,
service.
just Halloween party, vegan, 100% here in Mesa, Arizona. We have everybody wearing fun outfits, and it's absolutely incredible. And this is what you call normalizing veganism. They do this every single month. And of course, it's pet friendly. People bring their pets. And it's absolutely a fun event. There are huge lines for vegan food and vegan drinks. And this is normalizing veganism. This is normalizing nonviolence. Look at this line. And, you know, we're here in Mesa, Arizona. This is not Venice, California. It's not. Look at this gorgeous dog. Hold on a second. I'm going to turn around and show you this beauty. Right here. Look at this gorgeous dog. Hi, baby. It's so wonderful that people and animals are coming together here in Arizona, and, you know, no animals died. This is just absolutely wonderful. So what do you think, Renee? King Sonnen of Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, what do you think about this whole event?
I am so stoked. I'm so honored to be here with all of you guys. I mean, Sailesh is kicking this off. It's going to happen. He told me all about how he's going to create these groups, and we're going to get on Zoom meetings, and we're going to make a vegan world by 2026 a reality using the exact same way they did at creating the internet. How amazing to have somebody like that leading us.
I am so excited. Thank you, Renee King Sonnen of the Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. She is going to be a big part of this event, and we're going to bring you more coverage throughout the weekend of Vegan World 2026. Stay tuned.